So some things aren't working in my favor, some things are. What wasn't working in my favor is the fixings. I thought I had good fixings, but I didn't. So I had to bust out the resin. So they've been resined in, and it's been, how long? It's been about almost half an hour, so they should be nice and solid. So I'm going to try and hang the radiator on there in a minute. How are we all doing? I hope you guys are doing better than me, because, well, I'm recording this intro on a Friday and I've still got a bad belly, and I thought it was just me, but today Nikki's got it as well, and she's also got a fever, shivers, which is what I had the last 2 nights. I had a lot of DMs on Instagram as well from people saying that they've got it as well. Apparently I'm assuming it's to do with the sudden drop in temperature and everyone's getting ill, and someone sent me a link that apparently it's a new strain of norovirus going around, which is causing vomiting, diarrhea and fever, either all 3 or a combination of a few of them. So I don't want to get too graphic, but it's just, I've not been too well, and it's just been not the right time to get ill. I know you can't pick and choose when you get ill, but it's worse when it's silly season. You've got jobs, lined up, and you just can't focus and just feel tired, man. Just feel tired. And yeah, but that's the life of being self-employed. We don't get sick pay. So yeah, I've just been sort of taking it easy, not taking on anything too strenuous, and just trying to get back at a reasonable time. Not being able to go gym, which doesn't help me mentally or physically. Not being able to eat properly, which doesn't help me physically and mentally again still, because it's like I'm hungry but I don't want to eat, and when I do eat, I don't know if I'm enjoying it or not. But anyway, you're not here to listen to me go on and moan about my health problems. Not problems, just me being ill. You're here to watch me fit some column radiators, aren't you? Because that's what the thumbnail says. Now, we all love column radiators, don't we? Especially the tall, vertical, triple column, heavy ones, when you've got fantastic fixings. When I say fantastic fixings, I mean, yeah, that's what I was faced with on this job. So yeah, it wasn't fun, but got it done in the end. I'll show you how I did it, a few bits of equipment that I use, some materials that I use that might help you guys out, because I came to learn about the resin through someone on Instagram, watching their videos. So if you haven't used it before, maybe this might help you out when you're trying to fix a radiator or anything heavy to somewhere where you haven't got solid fixings. Unilite have also released 2 new lights, and I would show you them, but they're in my van and I can't bother to get them out now. But you got the CL 1700 and the HX 1080. The CL 1700 I absolutely love. It's a clamp light, and it's also got a swivel head torch. I might do a little short of it so you know people can see what it's about, but they've got a special offer on at the moment. Because it's just launched, they got launch prices, normally 100 quid down to 60 quid. And I'm going to put my link in the description, and if you decide to get it, you get another 10% off. So it comes to 54 quid, but I think I found my new favorite Unilite, because that one is awesome. Powered now, I'm also going to be doing a Black Friday sale as well. So if you're looking to trial out a software which is going to help you with your job management side of things, check out the link in the description as well, and get ready for Powered Now's Black Friday sale. It's going to be wicked. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys all soon. All right, we've got a vertical column radiator, which is going on this wall today. So there used to be a standard panel radiator on that wall, which I removed a long time ago. And now the customers have had the new radiator delivered. And luckily, it's come with the brackets that I like, the hook ones, rather than those. Now you get the other type, the spring type ones, which I'm not a fan of, but luckily this has come with the hook type brackets, which is good. And we've also got feet as well. So the plan is to obviously pop this on the feet here, and then 2 brackets at the top just to hold it in place as well. Now we've got floorboards underneath here, and I need to take up the carpet. So it looks like there's already a cut there. I need to roll that back and then see where the pipework is coming. If I'm lucky, the pipework, because there's a radiator there, the pipework might be coming underneath here and they're going that way. And if that's the case, that's going to make my life a lot easier. One thing I do need to double check on these is, are they single directional? Because some of these are, some of these aren't. So I'll have a read through. Sometimes they have markings, inlet, outlet, top, bottom. So we'll double check all that. And as long as there isn't, if there is, then what I need to do first is fire it up, basically put a bit of pipe between the 2 valves here and see which is our flow, which is our return. If it doesn't matter which way around it goes, then it's cool. I can just get the radiator hung. Well, I'm going to get the radiator hung anyway, and then I can figure out what pipework goes where, which is the flow and return if I need to. But if I don't need to, then it doesn't matter. We can get the pipes wherever we need to and get them up to the rad. And also with this job, I'm also going to be installing Tado as well. So I'm going to be fitting the thermostat, and then the customers have got all the TRV heads, and they're happy to sort of go around and swapping the TRV heads over and setting up the Tado smart TRVs to the app. As long as I get the actual app and the thermostat set up, then they should be able to do the rest of that. But first things first, I want to get this hung, and then I can start rolling back the carpet and sorting out the pipework and stuff. So that's good. There isn't technically inlet or an outlet on this, but it does say you want to have the flow and the bleed valve in opposite angles. So what I can do is basically hang it on and then pipe it up, fill it up, see which side gets hot. If we have this side is getting hot, my bleed valve's on this side, then all I'll do, I'll just swap the bleeding blanks around because they're just some rubbers. If it's the other way around, then yeah, vice versa. So either way, it's not a problem. I haven't got to worry about which direction to fit the radiator. I just got to get it hung, and then once I know which is the flow and return, if I get it right first time, perfect. If not, I've just got to swap the bleeding blanks around, so it's not an issue. So I've just measured from there to there, taking the halfway point for there, which is that little pencil mark there, so we know that the radiator is going to sit center of there. Now I've also taken the measurement between the center to the second to last column on each one, and that's basically where the feet are going to sit. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to lift that onto there, sight it on there, then the top bracket, so I can hook up at the top and then basically mark them up, get them drilled in, so that'll sit at, it'll sit on the top brackets, and then on the bottom it's just going to sit on these feet. So my original plan of just putting the brackets straight onto the skirting isn't quite going to work, and the reason because I put my level on the skirting's at a level, so I'm going to have to actually measure like that. So I've got to bring it up a touch. What I'll probably do here, I'll start on this side, so I'll put one bracket here on the skirting, then I have to make sure it's level, and then put the other bracket there because that's going on a downward slope that way. And I think the flooring itself and all is all going on a downward slope, so yeah, the feet are not going to work for me here, unfortunately. So let's just do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, so I've got the 2 bottom brackets on. Now luckily down here it's solid. Well, it's literally solid just there, but this all sounds hollow, but these have got solid fixings in there, so that's good. Like I said, if you look at that one very carefully, that's slightly above the skirting because the skirting's not level. But now I put my level across that, bubbles right in the middle, so at least I know the radiator, it will be hung level. Now the way I do this, now that I've got the bottom ones on, I'm going to lift this onto the bottom brackets, lean it up against the wall, and then mark my top brackets. So some things aren't working in my favor, some things are. What wasn't working in my favor is the fixings. I thought I had good fixings, but I didn't. So I had to bust out the resin. So they've been resined in, and it's been, how long? It's been about almost half an hour, so they should be nice and solid. So I'm going to try and hang the radiator on there in a minute. What is working in my favor though, I rolled the carpet back. I found obviously that pipe there, the other one's there. I was thinking, right, where's that coming from? There's a couple of loose floorboards. I've not had to cut many up, but bingo, I have hit the jackpot. Flame returns are coming straight here. So all I need to do is from here, kick that up and into there, and then cut this one bang into there. And like I said, it doesn't matter which is the flow or the return, because I can just swap the bleeding blanks around afterwards. That's not a problem. One other problem I can foresee here is obviously where I might be lucky, but I don't think I'm going to be that lucky, because we've got this joist here which is going to get in the way of this rad, but that's going to go on the second to last column. So then there's going to be another column next to it, then the tail. So I might be lucky, I might clear it just on the side. I really need some luck today, because with these fixings on the wall, I'm not having much luck. So I'm hoping that's one thing that works in my favor. Those have been set on there now, so I'm going to attempt to rehang the rad on there, and then I can mark my top brackets on. Lord have mercy, we're on. I literally waited half an hour for the bottom to go off, half an hour for the top to go off, because the weight of this, I wasn't taking the risks. I just wanted to make sure that the brackets are not going to fall down. That resin stuff is so good. If you haven't used it before, this is the stuff you get from Screwfix. Buy a ruled plug, bonded anchor, Archem 2. This stuff, it goes off rock hard, and it's got me out of a pinch a few times. That is now solid, it's not going anywhere. And luckily, the other good thing down here is now with the tail on and everything, once I put the valve on, I'm going to clear that joist hopefully. So yeah, it was a bit of a start, but it looks like things are starting to work in my favor a little bit. I need to go up to the boiler, lock off the flame returns. I've started taking the pressure off the system, but there's still water in there. That's because the AAV is letting air in. I'm going to undo that. Sorry, shut off the flame returns under the boiler, and then I can cut the pipe here, bring it up. As it stands, I'm assuming the TRV is on that side, so I'm going to use that pipe here as the flow, which is why I've left the bleed here, and then I'm going to use that as the return from the lockshield side. Radiators are not fun, but finally piped up. There and there. I did sacrifice one elbow because I don't know if you can see, but that is slightly bent, and it's because as I was pressing it, it came out a little bit, and I'm pretty sure it would have held, but where it's going under the floor, I'm not taking any risks, so I've just cut it out and redone it. Now I'm going to shut the valves down, I'm going to repressurize the system, and then before I need to check obviously which is flame return. So I'm not going to bleed it, I'm going to open the valves, I'm going to see what gets hot first, and then I will know which is my flow, which is my return. Then I'll know whether I can leave those as they are, or if I need to swap the bleed and the blank around. We're getting there. Okay, we're all done. Carpet's back down. This is getting nice and hot. I left the TRV head off because the customer's got the Tado system. I've just fitted it. I didn't video it because it was literally taking the old mechanical thermostat off and putting the Tado thermostat. They've got the wired one, so it just went in place of the old analog one. That's working. I've just tested it. It comes on and off. It's 2 wires, common and switch. That's it. So there's not really anything to show on that. But I've just tested it. That's working. They're going to do all the heads themselves. That's not a problem. I'm done on this one. Long. Radiators, always long. Especially vertical ones. Especially column ones. Hi, building. got a couple of bits to do here today. Look up the van first. As you can see, that means power flushing. But don't worry, I am not going to be recording power flush. We've got a lazy light here. I'm going to have to get some more lighting, I believe. Okay, that's fine. I'll sort that out. So, a couple of bits I'm doing here today. This standard double panel is getting replaced by this tiny little column rad. I know, another column rad, but this one's okay because it's a lot smaller. I can lift it with one hand, so it doesn't even weigh that much. They've got the hook type brackets, they've got the valves and everything, and I've got a couple of boiler fixes here, so I can turn this off, get rid of this radiator, start working with this radiator, and then open this up again, because I am also going to be doing a power flush here, cleaning the plate, and I'll show you how I'm going to be cleaning the plate, well, how I am cleaning the plate currently. So it's already all set up. Got the bath running. I'm using the pump head adapter, and I'm just running a hot tap because the plate's been playing up on this, and it's a Worcester. So I thought, rather than taking the plate out and using spirits or salts or whatever whilst I'm power flushing, let me try it this way, see if it works. And so far, is the boiler still staying on? Yep, the flame's still on. That hot pipe is nice and hot. So that's doing its thing. That's been flushing for, what's the time? I actually can't remember. Nothing overflowing here. Now, you know when you can hear water running, but it's actually that running. So psychologically, it throws you off a bit. So yeah, that's doing the plate and the main heat exchanger at the moment. And what I'm going to do afterwards is I'm going to cut in a T here, and the T here, so that's our flow and return. I'm going to keep the boiler isolated and flush the rest of the system because I don't want the muck going back into the boiler on this occasion. And the reason why is because there's quite a few column radiators here already. We've got a standard radiator, but even that one looks quite old. And that one's not too old, but upstairs they've got column radiators, downstairs they've got a few column radiators. And in my experience, column radiators are known for collecting dirt and rust and stuff. Let's just move this case out of the way. So that's why I don't want to flush that through the boiler afterwards. So I'm going to let this do the plate for a little while. Maybe what? Let's just see. I'm going to start disconnecting that radiator, taking that off, see what the time is, and then I will disconnect this. I will get it set up on the actual system side. So whilst I'm fitting the radiator, it will flush the system. Once that's done, then I can open up those isolation valves and make sure the new radiator gets flushed out as well. That's the plan. Let's go. Now this is a sort of situation where the blower kit really does come in handy. I know people say, well, been making do without it for all this time. Yes, we have, but there's nothing wrong with a bit of new innovation, new technology, new stuff, especially when I can do that and it will literally just pump all that water out. And yes, I know it's an expensive bit of kit, and yes, I did get it sent out for free. I'm not going to lie that I bought it or anything like that, but it's a fantastic product, I think, anyway. So yeah, it works for me, and situations like this, it really does work well. So I've finished flushing the plate out and cutting my 2 T's for the flow and return. So now that's just doing its thing there. Power flush machine, carry on working, open up all the radiators, and now I'm gonna fit that new column radiator, get that on. Within that time, it should have been an hour or so to let it circulate, and then I can start doing each radiator individually as well. This radiator was a lot more easier, and is fun the right word? I don't know if fun. I don't know if radiator is ever fun, but it was easier to do because it's obviously tiny, and I had good solid fixings on this wall as well, so that's good. So that's all piped up. I've just turned on the boiler fix and I heard it all coming through. So now I'm going to have a little tidy up around here. Power flush has been circulating for probably over an hour now, which is more than enough. We have a tidy up down here, and then I can start isolating radiators individually, and then we can start dumping. I'm not going to film anything else for today, I don't think, unless something interesting happens. So camera's going to go back in the van for now, and if something interesting happens, I'll come back to it. If not, thanks for watching, guys and girls and people.